Hello and welcome to Champion Reviews. I'm Joe, here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And this is a review for the Green Goblin episode. Now, Green Goblin in the comics is a villain who has rarely ever been much fun to read because he's just either pumped up because the writers are obsessed with, I think, issue 175 from 1975. I'll have to check if it's actually 175. Let's see. Amazing Spider-Man number 175. Yeah, I think it's the Green Goblin one. I have to check. It might have been 1977. No, I'm wrong. Of course I'm wrong. Oh well, was worth a check. But the thing with, they're obsessed with the death of Gwen Stacy story, which I like that story, but I really don't care for the obsession. I mean, you had the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie 1, like, obsessing about this storyline, and it's just, okay, let it go, dude. Let it go. Now, this episode, as an intro to Green Goblin, was good. He's a raving lunatic, but here's the difference. There's nuance and whatnot done in. Now, there's an initial gas leak at Oscorp, which causes an explosion, because Fisk is pushing for chemical warfare weapons to sell on the black market to certain key militaries and whatnot for profit.
Oh, of course.
Anastasia Hardy is implied to be in on it, as is one or two other board members, but they're trying to... Now, they're condemning Norman publicly, but they want a slice of the pie. Now, the only one who doesn't seem to have wanted a slice, but seems to have just wanted to out it, was J. Jonah Jameson, who did out it, and personally wrote the article condemning it. And this enraged Norman more than anything else, and the other board members, because, well, you've exposed us, you prick. But Jonah sees it as, well, it's my job.
I'm a journalist.
I have an obligation to the truth.
There was an explosion at...
Well, this is before the explosion.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's like...
I'm a journalist.
Yeah, it's like, I have an obligation to the truth. Well, yeah. Although today, journalists being truthful. That's a joke. I'm just saying. But that said, Jonah actually is pretty heroic in here. You can see that Peter's quick to figure out that it's the board members being targeted. Because, let's face it, at his core, Green Goblin's a petty crook. Just going after personal vendettas. Now, that said, he captures Jonah, Fisk, and three other board members, and then goes after Anastasia Hardy last. And the thing is, Spider-Man tries to stop him after having failed to stop him from capturing Jonah. And he ends up, grabbing Felicia, chucking her down to her death. And Felicia pleads with Spider-Man to save her mom. This in spite of the fact that the last time she had a tango with Spider-Man, so to speak, she was saying she hated him with all her heart and soul and was begging everyone to kill him. Oh, how the tables have changed. When she wants when she needs her mom saved. I'm just saying.
It's as bipolar as Gwen Stacy.
Or post-97 Felicia Hardy.
Yeah.
That's the sluttiest Felicia ever. Now, pre-97 Felicia was a nice gal. Well, she did have a stalker period, but she got nice. She got over it. She got better. But Felicia here is just desperate to save her mom. I will concede that one. I'm a little quick to judge her just because I get annoyed with the whole jumping between boyfriends thing. It just tires me out. I mean, why would you want to do that? I don't see the point. So you've got that going down. Peter checks on Harry for MJ. Harry lashes out at Peter because Peter works for the Bugle. And because he doesn't really want friends right now. He wants his daddy back to tuck him into bed. Mm-hmm. MJ, of course, is starting to you can see her starting to jump ship to Peter.
Yeah.
Now, in the comics, this was well done because apparently her and Harry never really went to bed, but she was sleeping with Peter. And the thing is, Harry was a drug addict who verbally trashed her a lot of the time. And the thing is, his dad was a creeper and was sleeping with Gwen. And, MJ was kind of very uncomfortable with this entire family drama and with the drugs and whatnot. Peter was uncomfortable, despite sleeping with MJ while he's technically dating Gwen. But I don't judge MJ or Peter for sleeping with each other because, well, in that situation,
It's Gwen and Harry.
like they're nuts.
What do you expect?
Yeah, but then you've got in this situation though, this MJ's wanting to jump ship, but she's not quite ready yet. Which it kind of feels a little predatorial, or at least a little utilitarian of her, which I don't like, because MJ is a decent person in the comics, at least, or at least the pre-97 comics. I don't know too much about the post-97 comics, but the thing is, that said, she still tries to do the right thing. I will concede that, and tries to find Harry in order to reason with him. But she's captured by Green Goblin, who then takes her to his lair and decides to execute her alongside the rest, having been stalking her. And Harry, I suspect he's been stalking them all, or at least he stopped stalking Harry and was suspicious that MJ was jumping the boat to Peter, which, yeah. No, I'm actually kind of going, yeah. And, of course, he wants to kill her to just punish her for potentially cheating on Harry with Peter, which, on some level, yeah. Because, on the one hand, she's dating Harry, but she's having an emotional affair with Peter. Now, when she was dating Peter, she was sleeping with Harry. So this is just...
It doesn't paint her in the best light.
No, she's a slut. I'm just saying. That's the light it paints her in. But there is nuance to a limited extent in the episode. I will concede. There is... Now, she does admit to... She slept with Harry, but as she's gotten to know him, there's a dark side that's starting to scare her. Which... There is nuance in that regard. John Semper's trying here. It's not easy given the what's been done with MJ thus far. But he's trying. He's trying to give her an arc, which I appreciate. Hey, it's more of an arc than any female character ever got in Batman. And, well, I would say Superman, but actually Lois and Mercy got great arcs. But in Batman, no female got a good arc. Because you had Bruce Timm. I mean, enough said. He's not exactly good with female characters.
It's like, at most, Barbara probably got a nice arc in Sub-Zero.
Yeah, but in Mystery of the Batwoman, let's not even talk about the arc there.
Oh, boy. It's been a while since I've watched that, and I don't remember a thing.
That movie... No, you suppressed a memory for a good reason. That movie is terrible. Terrible! Except for the Spanish or Mexican-American love interest for Bullock. I like that idea. That was funny. But anyways, here, Spider-Man stops Green Goblin, and you get this very nuanced fight where they do clash. Now, once Fisk and the other hostages escape into the submarine. Now, real quick, one major thing at night. Most of the shots are colored green, which is a really nice touch. Before Green Goblin even appears, it's hinting, and I like that. That's very crafty filmmaking. And then, when Fisk nearly ends up lunging at Green Goblin while bolted to the wall, with manacles on his arms, you could see the manacles actually giving out and the nails starting to jeer out. But then Fisk relaxes. He was testing, I think, and realized he could break free, but then decided to wait for the opportune moment. Which it shows Fisk is smart. Then you've got... but once in the submarine, what's the first thing Fisk does? Beep. Destroys the entrance, trapping Spider-Man and Green Goblin inside. And as he tells Fisk, well, we're well rid of both those maniacs. Seizing the opportunity. Now, Jonah is the one who goes, now why did you do that? Jonah's offended by it because he's like, as much as he doesn't like Spider-Man, he was grateful for the rescue. And he's the most grateful of them all, except for the brief moment of, why you?
But Fisk gives it, and not Fisk, but Jameson is the type that if you save him, He might grumble in...
Well, he's Ebenezer Scrooge. He'll grumble, but he does have a sense of gratitude.
It's like he's going to...
the only person he won't grumble at saving him is... No, the only 2 or 3 people are Robbie, his son, and his wife. Marla. Like, honestly, the fact that he's lovey-dovey with his wife in almost every depiction is just funny. Well, except for the one movie, which I hate this Sam Raimi movies, but I do like these. Seeing like, your blood pressure, Mr. Jameson. Your wife left instructions with me. But anyways. Now, Spider-Man's nuanced fight with Goblin involves him actually holding up the mask and saying, this represents the ugly side, the evil within you, Norman. Let it go! And Norman's going, I can't! Give it to me! Like he's an addict. Which, bear in mind, Norman always said he hated drug addicts. But what does he boil down to here? Pretty much a drug addict. And you've got... Basically, he's addicted to the thrill, the power, the evil. And you have Spider-Man telling him, you have to, for yours and Harry's sake. Otherwise, it'll destroy you. Now, this is Spider-Man at his most aspirational or inspirational, and Green Goblin at his most heinous. You've got... they're pulling at the very souls of a family. The Osborns. But... the thing is, Spider-Man does fail them, but he does save his own soul, so to speak. It's a very complex, nuanced fight in a way, and I love it. And sure, Harry ends up rescuing them, but one gets a sense of why was Harry there? That he shouldn't have been there to an extent. And him and Norman going down into the depths of the Hudson there, it reminded me of Paradise Lost, of Satan's fall from grace. In a way. And Spider-Man seems to be Michael here. But, no, trying to reason with, but having to deal out justice despite his reluctance. So, it's a bit of that kind of thematic ideas. Or Odin with Loki, after Loki has basically caused the murder of Balder and Hodder, and even, I think, Nana, and brought ruin onto Asgard. And Odin having to punish him reluctantly after having forgiven him so many times. So, it's that kind of thematic battle, which I really like. Although at the end of the episode, you have Fisk going, okay, this is kind of risky business because it's gone public, but you're not off the hook, Osborn. And you have Norman just kind of glaring at him, a bit like, damn. But then Norman does something that's actually a little unforgivable. He decides, well, I'm damned by Fisk.
He brings in...
his son. Now, you could see that as him trying to embrace his son, but you could also see it as him going, well, if I'm going to be dragged to hell, I'm going to bring Harry with me. MJ flirts with Peter, kisses him on the cheek, and decides to ditch Harry there, and that's a little funny. I just laughed a little because it's funny. Felicia decides to pass a note on to Peter, telling him, talk to Spider-Man. Then decides she's going to kiss Spider-Man despite her previous supervillainous actions of trying to turn the public against him to murder him. That's kind of a thing that she did. So, yeah, that's what happens this episode. It's actually an episode I really like. It's also, I think, the fifth Spider-Man episode I ever saw, because the first one was the Venom. Well, the first story I saw was Venom Saga. Then it was the whole Spider Slayers. Then it was pretty much this. And I've always had a soft spot for this episode for that reason. But that said, I've always hated Green Goblin stories because I read them in the comics, and I remember eventually I was reading into the post-97 universe, and it's just, they kept bringing Osborn back. And it's just like, no, leave him dead. He was taken down by his own glider. Leave him dead. Then you've got the freaking movie, which just... I do like the scene of, don't tell Harry. I don't mind that being his last words. But, now, that's the only scene William Dafoe nailed Osborn with. Except for the, I'm something of a scientist myself. The intro and departure of Green Goblin, of Norman Osborn, I like in the movie. But everything in the middle was so freaking cringe. He was, there's something to be said about the cackling maniac working in the cartoon, but not on the big screen. Now, that said, it could have been well handled, but here it's well... you have Norman even arguing with his own personality to an extent, going, no, I need it, no! And he's shifting between personality and voice, and it's just... bewildering and frightening.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, how would you rate this episode? I'd rate this pretty much a 3.3.
3.5.
It's near perfect.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
The only time I like Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Now, he could be an interesting character in the comics. But the problem is, don't bring him back. Write stories backwards. But, people don't understand how Green Goblin should be written. Generally. Now, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.